Hello everyone, True here, back with another video. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day. And before we get into today's video, please remember to like and subscribe. We're getting closer and closer and closer to 50 subscribers. And once we do get to 50 subscribers, we will be doing a giveaway on the channel. And keep in mind, subscribing is free, and it's also free if you want to change your mind. And while you're at it, make sure to drop a like on today's video, as it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that. So with that being said, let's get into today's deck. So today's deck, I suppose you can say, is the Raikou theme deck, which I personally think is a very slept on deck. Many people think Relentless Flame, the deck with Charizard, is the best theme deck, but in my opinion, the Raikou theme deck is the best, and I will give you my reasoning here. The reason I think the Raikou theme deck is much better than Relentless Flame is primarily because it has Zebstrika in it, and Zebstrika just lets you draw so many cards in the turn and see a lot more cards than you normally would with any other theme deck, because Sprint is just such a powerful ability, especially in the theme deck format. And along with Zebstrika, we also play one of the strongest Pokemon in the theme format, Naganadel. Charging up is an extremely good ability to recover energy, so you don't have to waste your attachment per turn on the Naganadel. You can just charging up, and you basically attach 2 energies per turn with the charging up ability. And 80 damage for 3 energies is also pretty good. Usually enough to soften something up for a 1-hit with a Raikou if they have a lot of HP. And Turning Point is a very good attack. When we have 3 prize cards left, we can hit for 160 damage. More times than not, you want to set up for that Turning Point turn, and when you do, it's extremely beneficial and very powerful. And another really powerful aspect behind this deck is that Ampharos. Using Unseen Flash, once during your turn before you attack, you may put 2 lightning energy cards from your hand into the Lost Zone. If you do, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Nowadays, theme decks do play like 2 switches, but Unseen Flash is still an extremely powerful ability. Not only does it set up our Raikou's Lost Voltage attack to hit for 120 damage, but it also paralyzes our opponent's active Pokemon, which basically makes it so that we can get ahead in the prize trade. And Split Bomb is also a very good attack for the early game. If you manage to get out Ampharos in the early game, 50 damage to 2 of our opponent's Pokemon is a pretty good attack. And Zebstrika just really makes up for the lack of draw supporters compared to some of the other theme decks that play things like Research these days, and Cynthia. Zebstrika just makes the difference here. And and we play one of Ultra Ball, which I have found to be really good in many scenarios. Ultra Ball, just being the best search in the game, is really strong in this deck. It synergizes really well with Naganadel, as it allows you to discard energy, and then you can use Charging Up to put the energies onto the Naganadel. And yeah, this theme deck's just really powerful. And that's all I really have to say for it, and let's hop into some games with the best theme deck, in my opinion. Alright, so hopping into our first game against AXL1313. Good luck to him or her, and let's call heads. And we do win the coin flip, so I will opt to go first. It doesn't really I'm still sort of undecided on whether or not you want to go first or second with this deck. In this case, I feel like I maybe should have gone second, because we do draw that Lily, but we only play 1 or 2 Lilies. I forget the exact count, so the chances of us getting that are not that high. And we are playing against the Swampert theme deck, so not the greatest theme deck, but still a pretty good one. Swampert, with that ability to let you discard a card from your hand and draw 3 cards, is extremely powerful. And they also have the Macargo with Smooth Over, which is also a really good card that they play. But let's see if we can win this matchup. So here I'm gonna play the Timer Ball preemptively, because in the theme format, there's no hand disruption. So playing Timer Ball early is actually the move to make, because you thin out your deck of that card you want, of those evolution Pokemon, and then you have it in your hand for next turn. So you have a higher chance of top decking something like a draw supporter or something that you need besides those evolution Pokemon. And it looks like our opponent is just going to return. Not a whole lot going for them. So I will play the Howl here. Draw 3 cards. Not a whole lot to work with, but pretty good nonetheless. We did draw into our Raikou. So what do I want to do this turn? I don't really... We can punch them for 20, but that doesn't really do much for the mat. So I think I will just attach to the Raikou, retreat into the Raikou, and just pass to our opponent. The reason I'm doing this is because we want our Substractor to stay alive, and there's no point in hitting our opponent for 10 damage. So there's an escape rope from our opponent. That's fine with me. I will just promote the Poipole. Let it take a hit this turn. Yeah, that's fine with me. There's the Copycat for 4 from our opponent, so they really have a bad hand. They really had a bad hand. So there is a Snover from our opponent. Anything else? There's a Fire attachment. And here with return, they can draw 3 cards if they so choose to. Snover is not weak to lightning, unfortunately. So here we can escape rope ourselves. There's a Timer Ball. That's a really good draw. Let's see if we can get some heads. There's a head, so I think I will take the Zebstrika in this case, just to give us that access to draw some more cards in here. I will play the escape rope, bring in the Raikou, Lily for 5. There's an Ultra Ball. So here I will evolve the healthier Poipole, use charging up. Here I can Ultra Ball away, get rid of the Lightning Energy and the Kahili, and go for that Flaffy. And I think we can hold on to this hand. We don't need to really sprint this turn, I feel like, because Tate and Lysa, we can use that next turn, give us access to more cards, and then we can hopefully draw into that Ampharos. So here I will just Lost Voltage our opponent, hit them for 30, soften them up a little bit. Let's see if our opponent has a better hand going for them. There's a Frost Rotom from our opponent. That's actually a pretty good card for them to utilize, because because with Naganadel we do play a lot of energies onto the board at one time. So Frost Rotom, we definitely want to play around that Frost Crush from one-shotting any of our Pokemon. That's something I want to do. And there's an attachment to the Frost Rotom, so it seems like they're gonna give up on the Snover. No, there's a Tate and Lysa from our opponent, and they're gonna shuffle and draw, not switch. So they're seeing a lot of cards here. I'm pretty sure the Swampert theme deck does play switch, so it is possible they might hit switch this turn, which would be fine. And just a pass from our opponent, that's good for us. We'll just Tate and Lysa here. This deck does only play, excuse me, one Zebstrika, unfortunately. But that's why we don't need to bench any other Blitzles. So I really don't want to get rid of a Rescue Stretcher, but I really do want to one-shot the Snover this turn and put the pressure onto our opponent. Currently, Frost Rotom is hitting 30, 50, 70, 90, 110, so we're fine if we attach here and charging up this turn, so that's good. I will bench this Poipole. No, I'll hold off on benching the Poipole. I will just sprint here, looking for the Ampharos with 2 energy. We whiffed an energy, but that's okay. So here, charging up on the Naganadel. Next turn, we can probably draw into another Lightning Energy. So with the Kukui. So we're looking super set up here. Really good draws from us so far. So the Frost Rotom is not one-shotting our Raikou yet, which is good for us. There's a Howl from our opponent. There's a Slugma. That means they can get Magcargo next turn, but we have yet to see a Mudkip from our opponent. There's the Mudkip we were talking about, and there's an attachment to it, and just the pass from our opponent is pretty good for us. I feel like we can bench another Mareep. Kukui looking for an energy card. We whiffed the energy, unfortunately. And here I will just Substrika, draw some more cards. And let's see what we draw into. 2 lightning energies, what we are looking for. We can Unseen Flash our opponent. And even though it looks like we're bricking right now, we can indeed just sprint again next turn, which is why Zebstrika is just so powerful in this deck. Currently, our opponent has no way to one-shot us. Their ideal play, in my opinion, would be to go in with Furfrou, hit us, and then one-shot us with Frost Rotom. That's definitely the optimal play from our opponent. We're gonna have to play around the I forgot what the name of it was, but the evolution of this. We need to make sure we can one-shot it with our turning point turn. That's definitely what we want to do. Do I want to get rid of all of these energies is the real question. We're down 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we have a lot of energy left in deck. I will sprint again. Because the reason I attached here is because they now one-shot us with Frost Rotom anyways. So it doesn't really matter whether or not we attach an energy. So here I will Lost Voltage our opponent. And we're just looking pretty good right now. So there's a Blitzel. That's fine. Our opponent really needs to get up the evolution of this, which I keep forgetting for some reason, and a Macargo to really get set going. There's an attachment to this Marshtomp, so I'm assuming, yeah, there's a Swampert. That's the name of it. And there's a Power Draw from our opponent. So now our opponent has a lot of momentum going for them. What can we do next turn? They're one-shotting anything on our board. There's a Timer Ball. Double Tails is really nice for us. That means they might not have the Macargo this turn. And we can look to paralyze them next turn and to use Unseen Flash and hit them with Naganadel. I think that's what I'm going to go with. They attack us. We can promote the Naganadel. There's an energy switch. But we got rid of our Raikou, unfortunately. So I think I'm fine using Kukui this turn. No Rescue Searcher, unfortunately. That sort of sucks, but it's fine. We can play the Nest Ball, look through our deck. Our last Rescue Stretcher is actually prized, which is not ideal, but that's fine. So here we can just charging up. We can paralyze our opponent and make it so that they have to find the switch the following turn. And here, I think I'm just fine just attacking. Yeah, I'll just Turning Point here. I'll just, yeah, I was surprised because they had the big animation, but I forgot we played Kukui. We do hit them for 100 damage. So that's pretty good for us. There's a Power Draw. They're really digging for a switch here. They have some cards left in deck. So there's a chance they may whiff. But wouldn't be surprised if they manage to hit the switch. They don't one-shot us with Frost Rotom yet because we only have 5 energy in play. Therefore, they're only hitting 110 damage. There's another Mudkip from our opponent. From that play, I'm assuming this is sticking in the active. There's the attachment to the Frost Rotom. There's a Kukui from our opponent. So if they do find the switch, they actually do one-shot us, which is really bad for us. That would not be ideal at all. And just the pass from our opponent, that's really good. They give us the well played. That's nice. So yeah, I think here we just go with that Turning Point, take a knockout on this Swampert. And I don't want to charging up because we can force out another Kukui from our opponent if we don't attach another energy. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm just going to Turning Point, knock out our opponent's Swampert, take a prize card, and it is a Mareep. That's not ideal, but it's fine. Here they promote the Slugma. I don't really understand that decision. I guess they don't want to promote the Frost Rotom because we do just one-shot it with our Turning Point turn, which is a fair play, I suppose. So here we can evolve into Flaffy. I'm gonna play the Pokemon fan club just to have another look at the deck. We have 5 energy left in deck. That's a pretty good amount. So here I'm thinking about just about retreating and actually attacking with Ampharos, because they can't one-shot us with Marshtomp next turn unless this deck plays Aqua Patch, which I'm pretty sure this deck does play Aqua Patch. They'll need Aqua Patch attachment plus Switch plus Swampert, so I'm pretty confident they may not have that, and I will just go in with Ampharos here and attach the energy. We have 5 energy, so here I will energy switch off the damaged Naganadel onto the Ampharos and actually use Split Bomb to spread some damage. So I will Split Bomb our opponent. I think here we want to put we probably want 50 on the Macargo and 50 on the Frost Rotom. Or we could take a knockout on this the following turn. So I think I will put it on the Marshtomp, and that's what I'm gonna go with. This plays around us. Make sure this allows us to still have our turning point the next turn, and it just allows us to utilize turning point. So if they come and attack us with Swampert, we can't just one-shot them with turning. We can't just one-shot them with turning point, which is pretty good for us. If they don't have a switch this turn, we will take a take a knockout on the Slugma, and we will punch the Slugma and punch the Swampert, which makes it so we can one-shot them with Naganadel with the 80 damage. So again, I hope I'm really showing the power of Ampharos. There's a Masked Royale from our opponent, and just to pass, we're definitely in control of this game at the current moment. So currently Frost Rotom is hitting 30, 50, 70, 90, 110. They one-shot us if we charging up with the Kukui, so I don't really want to do that. So did they do anything last turn? They power drew. So I'm pretty confident if we leave this stuck in the active, they will hit another switch. So here I'll just take this time to Split Bomb. Actually, do I really want to take a knockout on the Slugma? I could just go here and here. I actually think that's the better play. So last turn I definitely should have hit the Slugma and the Frost Rotom. That's a little bit of a misplay on my part, I suppose. So here I think I'm just gonna I think I will take a knockout on the Slugma and punch the Swampert. Just remove the possibility of a Macargo from play. There's a Lightning Energy, so they will take a knockout on us this turn, but that's fine because we do have the return knockout with the Naganadel. Our opponent still has a lot of prize cards left to take, and we're looking really good. There's a Kukui from our opponent. So definitely a good thing we did not attach that energy because Frost Rotom would have killed us. So there's a power draw from our opponent, probably looking for another attacker. I would assume. No, just a Hydro Pump from our opponent. So we're looking like we're in a really good spot now. We can promote this Naganadel, charging up to it, and just go from there. So we can charging up. We have 4 energy in play. If we attach one and they Kukui again, we get knocked out. But I'm pretty sure our opponent's team deck does only play 2 Kukui, so I feel safe attaching the energy to the Naganadel and just using turning point here, knocking out our opponent's Swampert, and we're taking a prize card. It is a rescue stretcher, so we can set up another Raikou if we so desire, which is what I'm looking to do. 120 damage feels really nice right now. Yeah, unfortunately we can't actually one-shot this Frost Rotom unless we find the Kukui. Both of our Kukuis are in the discard pile, so we can't win the following turn, which sort of sucks, but it's fine. So here we can actually stretcher and shuffle back in some cards. I think I do like doing that. So here I will shuffle back in Raikou, probably another Raikou, and then Ampharos. Yeah, that feels really good. So here we can Nest Ball, get out our Raikou. If we Copycat, Our opponent has 8 cards in hand. I don't really want to copycat. We can save that for another turn, I suppose, if we ever do need to use it. So here, I feel fine attaching to the Raikou, just using Turning Point here to soften up this Frost Rotom for a potential knockout. We can charging up, and we can just attack. We can just punch our opponent's Frost Rotom. So if we had played Relentless Flame, we probably would have lost since our opponent is playing a water deck. So definitely, yeah, so Raikou is just a super good deck with all the water decks running around on the theme ladder. Kyogre is super popular, Dragonite is super popular, and all of those decks do play water Pokemon. So we're looking pretty good so far. There's a Rescue Stretcher from our opponent. Getting back a Marshtomp into their hand, that's fine with me. We have game on board the following turn. Just a Frost Crush from our opponent, and just like that, we're going to be taking a dub against our opponent's Swampert deck. And here we just need a Turning Point, take a knockout on the Frost Rotom, and that will be game over. So yeah, I hope I really showed off the consistency with the Raikou theme deck. I hope all of you guys enjoyed. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe. And yeah, remember to have a good day, stay safe, and peace out.